Welcome to Unity of New York.
Ain't a person here who is anything short of a superstar. God is in us all, we got the power to accomplish anything. So keep on keeping on, never give up reaching for all of your dreams. I'ma make it by any means. I got a pocket full of dreams, baby. I'm from New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Unity, New York. These people make you feel brand new. The speakers inspire you. Unity, New York, New York, New York. One hand in the air for the big city. Streetlights, big dreams, all looking pretty. No place in the world that can compare. Put your hands up in the air, everybody say yeah, 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 yeah. In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Unity, New York. These people make you feel brand new. The music inspires you. Unity, New York.
Good morning. Good morning, Unity of New York, and welcome. Happy Sunday. I'm back, y'all. We took a break to move to a new apartment where I am now streaming to you from Ditmas Park, Brooklyn. So thank you for being here. I'm here. My name is Sarah Dacy Charles. I'm the co-director of the Prayer Chaplain program here at Unity of New York. And I'm going to read the daily word and talk to you about prayer support, because prayer rocks. All right. Today's daily word is protected. The affirmation is, I find my protection in the light of faith and truth. I am protected. I smile and act frightened as I recognize the neighborhood children who come to my door wearing scary masks and costumes. Children of all ages enjoy playing make-believe. Pretend fright is part of the fun of Halloween. Now and then, in response to an unexpected or unwelcome challenge, more serious thoughts of fear seep into my mind and upset my emotional well-being. At the first hint of unease, I remember that all of the protecting power of God is as near as my next thought. I say no to fear and yes to faith. My confidence grows as I practice the divine presence, discovering not only the protecting power, but also the guiding love and wisdom of God everywhere I go and in everything I do. Today's Bible quote comes from Psalm 18:31-32. It's right up there, as Leo has put it right there. For who is God except the Lord? And who is a rock besides our God? The God who girded me with strength and made my way safe. I am protected, even on this scary day of Halloween. Boo. So, let's talk about silent unity. It's been around for over 100 years, holding the sacred space of prayer. And there are people who will answer the phone if you call to pray with you in real time, a real person. Imagine that. No digital press one, blah, blah, blah. So call 1-800-NOW-PRAY or 1-800-669-7729 for Silent Unity. And also, as you see up there, YouPray app is a great resource to type in a prayer request and listen to a calming meditation and gain wonderful affirmations to use in your own spiritual practice. And please come one and all. With the call is still happening every Tuesday and Thursday. It's a conference call and all are invited. It lasts about 5 minutes. I invite you to come in just before 9:45 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. And we start and we pray together for global healing, and our own personal prayers are also included. So you can access that by dialing in on your phone 1-267-807-9605. Press in the access code as you are guided, and that code is 798460#. And come join us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leo, for making this happen, the beautiful pre-service, and enjoy David Alt and Zoe and Britt, everyone. Happy Sunday. Bye now.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, you're struggling just to make it through another day, well, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it all go. Yeah. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Happy Halloween.
Zoe, girl, looking good. And it's always a good day when you're here with us. And thank you for that reminder. I used to think I had to do it all for myself too. Sometimes I still forget. But today, are you ready to release, to let go, to be here in the moment? David Alt is in the house. But then you already heard that from Sarah, because Sarah was in the house. And Sarah, yes, prayer rocks. And it is that on which we are founded and based. And I'm loving at least that new wall behind you. Welcome to Ditmas Park. That sounds so, I don't know, just sounds so prestigious. I have no idea if it really is, but you're there. So now it is. So I do have an idea. And Zoe, I can't wait for everyone to hear your creation a little bit later. And Leo, dude, another beautiful countdown. That was fabulous. It was spooktacular. Ba-da-boom. And with that, I say happy Halloween. Halloween has fallen on a Sunday, and here we are with the many masks that we wear in life. Good morning, by the way. I'm Reverend Britt Hall, Senior Minister here at Unity of New York. And I am just so glad and grateful that we're here together this morning, again today. Each and every one of you, welcome home. If it's your first time, if you haven't been here in a while, if you're here every week, welcome home. Let us know where you're coming in from if you feel so bold in the comments section of the Facebook chat. And as I say welcome home, I acknowledge our mission and vision statements here at Unity of New York, where we provide, our mission is to provide a spiritual home where community may gather and know that all good comes from God within. And we continue to see a vision of a world consciously unified in love that leaves no one out and invites everyone in. Think about that. A world that leaves no one out and invites everyone in at a time like this. What the world needs now is love, sweet love, and a home that leaves no one out and invites everyone in. And here we are. And Sarah, I love that daily word. Thank you for sharing that with us this morning. It is perfect and appropriate for this day. I love near the end where it says, at the first hint of unease, I remember that all of the protecting power of God is as near as my next thought. How often do you forget that? I know how often I forget it. And that's what we're doing here together every time we gather. I remember that all of the protecting power of God is as near as my next thought. My confidence grows as I practice the divine presence. So I'm going to invite you to put your hand right here on your heart, tap it open, tap that heart chakra open, get in touch with that, breathe into this very present moment, and declare that I am ready to practice the divine presence right now, right here, today. And we have other times that we are able to join together and practice the divine presence. And let's bring Charlena in to tell us what they are.
Unity of New York continues to offer classes, groups, and workshops. For registration information, Zoom links, and any questions, simply email info@unityofnewyork.org. Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., join us for The Quest, a pre-service spiritual discussion group led by Unity teachers. Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m., staff minister Reverend Sean Moniger hosts his weekly Unity Classics spiritual reading and discussion group. Wednesdays at 10 a.m., join senior minister Reverend Britt Hall and co-host John Canary for the Community Connections Coffee Hour. Wednesday evenings, twice a month, Reverend Chris DiGiorgio hosts Unity Pride Gay Men's Spirituality Group. If you're not already receiving our weekly newsletter, it's the best way to stay up to date on what's happening at Unity of New York. Just go to our website, unityofnewyork.org, scroll down to the bottom right of the homepage, and subscribe. The best way to reach us is by emailing info@unityofnewyork.org. Unity of New York is here for you. Thanks, and have a great week.
Thank you, Charlena. You have a great week as well. Unity of New York is here for you, and you are Unity of New York. And as you just noticed, unless you ran to the bathroom or went to the kitchen, this Wednesday evening is the next Unity Pride with Reverend Chris DiGiorgio. And this coming Friday is our next Unity Senior Adventure. Leo?
Come join Unity Senior Adventures on Friday, November 5th from noon until 1 p.m. for a special Zoom room discussion on miracles and things that make us go, ooh. We'll share about those amazing serendipitous experiences we've all had, those unexpected reminders of spirit and good in our lives. Just RSVP to unityusa.nyc@gmail.com and we'll send you the link. Hope to see you soon on Zoom.
Becca, I do think that you have another side job coming to you in voiceovers. That was spooky, and ready to get together on Zoom this coming Friday with USA. But right now, today, as I keep telling you, Reverend Dr. David Alt is in the house. Your house, my house, his house. Hey.
Oh my God, you're spooky. You're so spooky.
What can
Hey,
I
I had
say?
a thought real quick. This may already exist, but you know how we have Oscars and we have Tonys and we have Emmys. If there was an award for Sunday broadcast, I do believe that Unity of New York would take the prize.
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe that what you do is the most creative, most comprehensive, most delicious broadcast that I have ever been privileged to be a part of. And I get to do it again today.
Well, you are part of the family, and I cannot thank you enough for those kind words. And, you know, it does take a village, yet we do owe so much of this to Leo, who loves getting to continue to create. And y'all ain't seen nothing yet. In just a minute, you're going to see the Halloween bomb in just a minute. That's why I had to put on a witch's hat. I had to do it for Zoe, you know. So
it brings out your green complexion.
Oh, God, thank you. That's what I was going for. I'm like an old nickel. Oh, David Alt, how are you? My God, it's always good to have you here with us.
Fabulous, fabulous.
I know you are. You are doing your work around the world, literally around the world. And what do you have coming up at Kaleidoscope Child Foundation?
Kaleidoscope Child Foundation, for those who don't know, is my nonprofit that I founded starting all the way back in 2004, bringing education to rural territories and slums and villages in Cambodia, India, and Guatemala. So we actually had our first sort of sister walk for education, which was an adjunct city added on yesterday in Annapolis, Maryland. And it looks between our two big fundraisers that we're going to meet our goal for the year to help our budget. So very excited about that. And now it's all things budget, as you know, I'm sure. So we're all sitting down to map out, are we going to get to travel next year to see our kids? And, you know, it's the big limbo.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for that really, really powerful, important work you were doing, and really proud that Unity of New York is a sponsor of Kaleidoscope Child Foundation. You're just a rock star helping the world. And we're grateful and blessed that you are a part of this family. And I'm going to hush up so we can get on with it, because I know you've got wisdom to impart to us today. And as I just told you a minute ago, we got a masterpiece for you. Wow. I just want to say that for years, we have laughed, and we've had so many laughs in the office, the Unity office. And Zoe used to tell us this story about this song. It's like, record it. You've got to record it. You've got to record the song. And I said, Leo, let's get on a mission. Let's make her get it to us for this Halloween, which is on a Sunday. She did. Here she is to tell us about it. Ooh, take it in. Don't go anywhere. And I'll see you on the flip side. David Alt. Bye.
Good morning, Uni of New York. Happy Halloween. So this little song that we're about to play for you, Britt wanted me to give you a little background on where it all came from. So when I was a little girl, my sister used to love to tease me, and I was afraid of witches. So she made up this little song that she used to sing at night to me, and because we had windows surrounding our whole bed, and it was very scary for me as a little girl. And I was afraid of witches, so she would sing, "The witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window." And, of course, years later, we laughed about it. And she hates that I tell people that story, that how mean she was to me, because she's very nice to me now. But anyway, fast forward a few years ago, I decided to make that little ditty into an actual song. So the song, I decided to make it about facing your fears, and like the witches being my fear. So, yeah. So here it is. And thank you, Leo Denault, for your amazing, just your passion and your creativity. I'm so excited to have this little song brought to life by you and your magic. So here goes. Happy Halloween, everybody.
The witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. The witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. Don't fear the witches, don't let them tear you apart. No matter your dreams or how crazy they seem, girl, you gotta stay true to your heart. Don't be discouraged if things don't turn out like you planned. There's always a way at the start of each day to begin it all over again. There's so much magic if you're willing to look inside. Just kick your heels up and get on your broom and ride. 'Cause the witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. The witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. Fly high above it, don't let old doubt drag you down. Just cast out a spell to climb out of your hell and believe you can turn it around. There's so much out there if you're willing to take a try. Just kick those heels up and get on your broom and fly. 'Cause the witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. The witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. There's so much out there if you're willing to take a try. Just kick those heels up and get on your broom and fly. Just fly. 'Cause the witch just peeked in the window, in the window, in that window. The witch just peeked in the window. Watch out!
Oh my goodness. Zoe, that's incredible. Leo, incredible. My God. Ah, the song and the interpretation of that song is just in direct alignment with what I want to share with you today. So Zoe gave us the encouragement and the instructions to turn to the witch, or to turn to the fear. And that might seem counterintuitive to the way in which our reactive nature might prompt us to be, or the way in which our habitual nature might face or interface with the world. But as we begin to become more and more self-aware, it really is about turning to the fear. But it isn't about so much turning to it and then battling it. It's about creating what we call mental alchemy. Mental alchemy simply means that we're taking a fear within our thought and we're shifting it and turning it into a paradigm of a new awareness. Meaning that those things that we once feared, those things that we once built a life around to prevent and to keep out, we can see from a different plane of awareness that they were guideposts, that they were signals, that that which we labeled fear was actually love prompting us and pushing us to move into a greater sense of embodiment. You know, sometimes we forget that there is beauty in the transformation. There is beauty in that which is uncomfortable, because just like the caterpillar is evolving into the butterfly, there are certain points where I'm sure that caterpillar is going, "What's going on? I'm losing my identity. This is uncomfortable. Make it stop." Those are types of mental voices that often will keep us locked into that fear and prevent us from willingly leaning into the transformation. But the more that we see it for what it is, actually love pushing us, hand holding us, drawing us. You know, it says that pain pushes until the vision pulls. Well, if we want the vision to pull us, we have to stop preventing, quote, quote, the pain and to begin to see it for what it is, this idea that it's all God. That isn't that something, a principle, a statement that says everything is God. I made a new intention, probably sometime during the early part of this pandemic experience, that I wanted to uncover within myself as much integrity as possible around that principle. The teaching that we offer in New Thought, that everything is in divine order, that the universe is comprised of a perfect patterning. I wanted to bring integrity to that, not just to speak it or recite it or pray it conceptually, but to live it. And so, in order to do that, in order to make good on my intention to bring integrity to it in every fiber of my word, thought, and deed, I had some work to do. I had to be willing to turn to the witches in the window and find spiritual practice, find support, dive in, lean into letting go of old ideas in order to let that integrity have breathing space. And so off I went on quite a number of adventures in my spiritual practice. And I will tell you that one pivotal immersion, um, where I was working with some of my teachers, brought up a very, I will say, a very tender and hard to look at memory. One of the things that I have been in reconciliation with is about my childhood, and particularly in relationship to my father. Some things were brought to light. We call them disassociative traumas, things that perhaps were so big and so painful that we shut down. And that happened to me. Not going to go into detail this morning because it's not important. But what is important is that by staying true to the integrity of wanting to see God in everything, that in these sessions, in this work with my mentors, I was taken, if you will, to the time when my father passed away. So, brief little history, he died when I was 7. He was in the VA hospital in Houston, Texas. And what I was told as a child was that he had gotten up one morning and decided he was going to take a shower in the little small showers that you might remember from a hospital room. He had gone in, and while he was taking a shower, he had had cardiac arrest. And it was there, however many minutes later, that an attending nurse found him and he was pronounced deceased. So I was taken, I want you to imagine this, I was taken above the shower. I hovered above the shower and I could see the moment after he had left his body. I could see the physical body slumped on the bottom of the shower stall. I could see the water coming out of the nozzle. And as I continued to watch, I saw an attendant nurse come into the room and find him. And in this healing practice, I was prompted and encouraged to say this to my father: "Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Well done, thy good and faithful servant." I'm sure you're familiar with that statement. It is a part of a parable from the book of Matthew. And in our modern day, present time, we usually will say that or hear that in memorializing people who have lived these exemplary lives. But I was prompted to say this to my father, who I had come to terms with a lot of trauma. And I was like, why? Why would I say this to that person? And the urging was simply to say it to him. And so finally, I let my resistance down and I said to the slumped image of my father in that shower, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." And in that moment, he looked up at me as if he knew that I was hovering in the atmosphere above. And he winked at me and he said, "You got it. You got it." Very excitedly and filled with love. And what I came to realize, the understanding that sort of was downloaded through me, is that every soul hears that. Every soul. In the transitioning from this body into the next plane of existence and in the expression of our soul, we hear this phrase almost triumphantly: "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." Every soul. That in that statement, much like the sound of Om, the ancient prayer of the All, is encoded with vibrations and healing and frequencies that uplift and realign us with our true remembrance of ourselves as God. And so, going back to the principle of new thought, everything is God. It's all God. We live in a divine universe, that everything is a part of an infinite intelligence, a divine design. How do you or I bring integrity to that? That was my hunger. That was my longing. And it was to begin to look at the things, even like in Zoe's song, to look at those things labeled as fearful, those things that are frightening, those things that we have spent a great amount of energy trying to outrun, outmaneuver, even out geographically move away from, in order to protect, to construct illusional walls around us. That to stop and turn to the trauma, turn to those we label as the biggest perpetrators of our grief, turn to the things within us that we have disassociated ourselves, turn to the physicality of us and say also, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." You may know this about me, but my first spiritual teacher was Louise Hay. Not only was she my mentor, but she was like my spiritual mother, and I got to travel with her. And one of her big things was mirror work. She would pass these mirrors out to hundreds and hundreds of people, and she would lead them into looking at the image of themselves, their reflection, noticing the discomfort, and trying to penetrate to that in the same essence, as if to say, "Well done to ourselves. Well done, thy good and faithful servant." And so while I was doing this work, the work with my father, I was shown that I too must say that to me every day, just like Louise had done more than 30 years ago. To say to myself, well done, thy good and faithful servant, to go to physical parts of our vessel, our instrument, that perhaps we hold grievance with, perhaps that we have cursed, perhaps that we feel are not good enough, to go to those disassociated places within our own physical body and to place our hands on those things and to say, well done. Well done to our joints. Well done to our circulatory system. Well done to our eyesight. Well done to hearing, to our heart. All of the things that comprise up who and what we are. To say, well done to the organs and the systems, thy good and thy faithful servant. Something happens with that. It's that mental alchemy. And mental alchemy sets the stage for physical alchemy, the shifts that we begin to see in our manifested world. And all of that is woven into a state of compassion. So that biblical phrase has an entirely different depth of meaning when you take it and look at it that way. It's sort of like living and breathing the Ho'oponopono prayer, that everything that we come in contact with, we systematically work to dismantle the illusional wall. You know, they say that the greatest lie, or the biggest thing that inflicts forgetfulness upon our psyche, is this idea: I am separate. I am separate. More than any self-inflicted incrimination, that the idea of I am separate is where we build from with regards to not being enough, to not feeling worthy, to being unlovable. All of those things come from an illusion that says, I am separate. And so what does it mean to turn to that? What does it mean to turn to the witch in the window? What does it mean to turn to, instead of trying to affirm it away out of fear? Well, if you turn to the illusion, you can see the illusion. Very Wizard of Oz, what's behind the curtain? When you turn to the dissociative trauma, it is a way in which we reclaim the power that we have given that trauma. It comes back home. It builds up the essential essence. And what takes place in that moment is a merger with our soul. But it takes a little bit of fortitude. It takes a little bit of willingness. It takes a great deal of intention to break the system of reaction and become more conscientious in our response to the world, to begin to hold into place the idea that nothing is as it seems. So what if the witch outside your window is nothing more than an angel getting you to surrender to a spiritual practice? What if the perpetrators of our grief are what I like to call gatekeepers? They're the big facilitators. You know, without Goliath, David would not have uncovered a new level of strength that he didn't know that he possessed. And so what are our Goliaths? Because without them, perhaps we remain stagnant and inert in uncovering the infinite potentiality that is within us. That's the purpose of the Goliath. That's the purpose of the witch. And instead of cursing them, we get to turn and to love them. The same thing. Well done, thy good and faithful servant, to all of the memories of our pain. Because when we can create and be willing to play in that paradigm shift, my goodness, that's when we bring integrity to the fundamental principle of new thought, that all is God. Without that, I tend to believe that all that we are doing is reciting hollow words. And so in this time of, they say that these days between All Hallows Eve into All Saints Day, All Souls Day, that these days contain the thinnest of the thin with regards to the veil from the ethereal to the earthly. That in that time, there is a greater sense of allowing of transformation if we pay attention. And so I want to invite you to pay attention to that. I want you to take advantage of this time, not to scare you, but I want you also to realize that we have about, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks until the new year. 8 weeks until a new year. Often when we think about a new year, we think, I will wait, I will postpone, I will futurize creating a reset for myself. And I say, why wait? Why wait? Why not understand that our endings influence our beginnings? And if we were to become a more intentional, just like I wanted to be more intentional in living, breathing, and being the embodiment that God is all that there is. I wanted to embody that. If we can start practicing the embodiment of our holiness, of our sacredness now in these 8 weeks leading up to a new year, then if the physics of that, if the principle of that is true, that our endings translate and interface with our beginnings, then how would we be setting the stage for 2022? It starts right now. It starts right now. It starts with considering, reflecting, looking at all of the circumstance of 2021, of really diving deep in what it means to forgive self. The greatest, most beautiful, most powerful ingredient of alchemy is compassion. And so I completed facilitating a 7-week course called Quiet on the Inside. And in order to prepare for that course, I was looking at and curating all different types of sacred reading that I thought would be appropriate for that theme. And I came upon Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. There's a chapter in there called Love Thy Neighbor. I wanted to share it as closing today because it fits so beautifully in my intention of wanting to bring integrity to the principle that everything is God. And so when I was reading the chapter of Love Thy Neighbor, which the basis of it is to not bear false witness. So one of the commandments, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, goes hand in hand with, well done, thy good and faithful servant. So what does it mean to bear false witness? Well, Joel Goldsmith said, to bear false witness against our neighbor is to declare that they are human, that they are finite, that they have failings, that in fact they are something less than the very child of God. And every time we acknowledge our neighbor as sinful, poor, sick, or dead, every time we acknowledge them to be other than the child of God, we are bearing false witness against our neighbor. And it says that as we do that, when we do that, we are holding up a mirror and bearing false witness to ourselves. You know, one of the things I learned when I was in ministerial school was that the principle we're talking about, that God is all that there is, that the principle never wavers, not even for a special occasion. Let me say that again. Principle never wavers, not even for a special occasion. Boy, I think about all the special occasions that I have come up with to justify bearing false witness. And again, if I'm going to make such a committed intention to breathe and to be and to live this idea that God is all that there is, do I have a wealth of practice before me, starting with my neighbors and starting with myself? So one of the ways that I've been doing that is to create the mantra, well done, thy good and faithful servant, with every interaction, not just in the immediate day-to-day interaction that takes place, but in the contemplation and the meditation, and when memory surfaces and when fear surfaces within me, to turn to it and to simply say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. What's so beautiful about that practice is I don't have to get into my intellect very much. I don't have to get into the story very much. It takes me right there into the moment to remember my intention. And so the story and the detail of the story doesn't really matter. What matters is that I have given myself to the intention, to want to bring integrity to that. And I know that it's not a one and done thing. I know that this is a practice, a lifelong practice that I will continue. And so on this Halloween, this time where we playfully look at the illusions, can we bring a sense of playfulness to our own intention so that it doesn't become so task oriented, so that it doesn't become so heavy, so that it doesn't bear the weight of shoulds, I should do this, but that we turn to all of that and we say, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to be here in this space-time continuum, in this skin suit, for everything that I find faulty with it, in order to practice and to bring integrity, to look at everything about me, to look at all of those that I come in contact with, and to find a tangible practice that aligns me back with the understanding and the will of God. This is what's before us. It's a grand and beautiful opportunity. Why wait till January the 1st? Let's do this together. Let's decide that these weeks ahead of us, this ending of this thing that we call 2021, that we're going to blow it out of the water with radiant, beautiful, what I like to call sweet surprises. That's also been a part of my new intention, that all of my prayers and my meditations, I invite sweet surprises. Things that greet me with delight and awe and tenderness and compassion, kind of sweep me off my feet. That's possible. Intention is everything. So let's do it together. If you'll take a moment now, Leo's going to bring up our meditation candle. And what you can do is you can close your eyes, or you can stare into this beautiful flickering flame, and you can become amazed by illumination and just the idea of illumination itself. What does illumination mean? It means it creates alchemy within the darkness. It takes the thing that perhaps we have given fear to, and it shines the light of truth upon it. That's all it is. That's all it means to create mental alchemy within ourselves, within our thoughts. To just usher in that light. And whether that is a personal mantra, a prayer, your own designed affirmation, I invite you now to look into this flame and to speak that mantra into the flame. Just take a moment, your favorite prayer, and speak it into the flame. And now I invite you to think of a fear, a witch in the window, something perhaps that you have been avoiding, something perhaps that has weighed heavy upon your heart, something that sort of creates a heaviness of worry. And I want you to put it into the flame. Just take it and put it into the flame. And say, well done. Well done, thy good and faithful servant, for bringing me to a beautiful place of surrender. And breathe And know that at any time you have the capability and the freedom to do this. The world is your canvas. And that canvas is a place on which you can create your own real-time masterpiece. And so we know this not only for ourselves, but we know this now for the community of Unity of New York. We know it for our city, our boroughs. We know it for the states that we live in. We know it for our families. We know it for those who are in positions of leadership. We know it for those who we are in conflict with. We know it for countries. We know it for our world. And let us align this knowing now together, taking another deep breath in. And together we say, and so it is, my friend. God bless.
Wow. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. My dear friend, I know that you just spoke divinely and directly to so many hearts, and you have sent ripples out, put them in motion. Gosh. I was thinking of acronyms for fear. You know, the usual forgetting, no, the false evidence appearing real, the witches, the Goliaths. And another one that I share sometimes that I heard from Reverend Diane Scribner is fear is forgetting everything's all right. And right before you spoke about the Goliaths, about David, I was having this image of how things are never as, when you were saying they're never as they appear, but they're never as big as they seem to be.
Right.
The closer you get to them, the smaller you find out they are. But taking those steps. I thank you for speaking to me today. I have really been riding a wave of integrity and intention, and lots of witches and things find in my house trying to come into the door. Like, get away. So I thought, hey, let's hear a song about them from Zoe and face them and put on a witch's hat. It's Halloween. I really, I can't thank you enough for not just the wisdom and the insights and from the experiences you so openly share with us, but for your heart, for your heart. I'm so grateful. And I love and appreciate the reminder of why wait. You know, that's a man-made delineation, the thing on the calendar. You know, how many different calendars are there throughout time?
Right.
However, that being said, I am thrilled that you have said yes to joining us again at the beginning of a new year for the 2022 Pledge Partnership Workshop, the first Saturday of January. So stay tuned, everyone, for details on that. We are working that out. But speaking of pledging, would you, you're here, would you be willing to impart some words of wisdom for our love offering, our sacred exchange? It is time for that. We have arrived at that moment.
Yeah. Same thing about bringing integrity to giving and receiving. Um, all of the years that I was a minister, I will confess that there was a part of me that I was uncomfortable in asking. And I know that really what that was just an extension of my own perceptions and my own internal framework. Um, and somebody told me about a Buddhist practice, a Buddhist business practice, and they said in that Buddhist practice of being in the business world, if there's something that you want, go help someone else achieve it.
Mm.
And I loved that because what I saw in that willingness to do so was that you dissolve any idea of not enough, like they're going to get something that I'm not going to
Mm.
get. You break that myth. And part of breaking the myth is also in alignment and integrity with what I talked about, and that is that God is all that there is. And so sometimes we have to turn to the myth of our fear, our insufficiency, or our allegiance or loyalty to lack. And in order to bust that, we have to do something, some small thing, in order to put movement and motion into transforming that and creating
Yes.
alchemy.
Yep.
And so it's a whole new, beautiful world of being able to ask and to not be attached to where the ask comes from, but to fulfill the mission of being a part of that reciprocal action, to not only me go out and then give as a part of that Buddhist practice, but also to be the thing that welcomes that practice back to me. It works both ways. I have to be able to give and to receive. I have to be comfortable with receiving as well as giving. So it works both ways.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-sided process. So with that, I say to anyone that's listening that if this community feeds you, if this community holds a special place in your heart, I know that you know this already, but the to be in the flow, the circuitry means that we give, we put that into the circuitry of aliveness. And so think of the circuitry of Unity of New York and find a way to support it. If there's something fearful in there, let yourself turn to the fear and give what you can. The amount doesn't matter, it's the action behind
Right.
that. And so wouldn't it be great if today you did that to support this community, and that it has a banner year going out for 2021? I know that all communities can use that support, and I can't think of a better one to sing its praises than this one. So please give. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that Buddhist practice of helping someone else achieve it. That's
Yeah.
great. That also breaks down that big lie you were talking about of separation, that we are separate. We're not.
Yeah.
Every Unity of New York is everyone who is a part of it. So thank you for that. And here's Leo to remind us of the super easy ways to give.
Super, super easy. You can text the word give to 718-313-3674, or the old-fashioned way, you could mail a check to the office at 225 West 99th Street, New York, New York, 10025. You can go to our website, unityofnewyork.org, and then click the donate tab at the top of the page and then follow the prompts. Or again, if you're wearing those cute cat slippers, you could go to paypal.me/unityofny. It's that easy.
It is that easy. And it's also easy to remember this true affirmation that we always share together, knowing that divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And therein lies that very reciprocation that the wise Reverend Dr. David Alt was just reminding us about. So thanks for being here today.
I love this community. I love you. You're one of my dearest friends. So I want to see you thrive. I want to see this community thrive. And I am always appreciative for being asked.
Ooh, I love you better than my best pair of cat slippers. And we see you continuing to thrive and change this world from the point of who you are. We're so grateful. And I know I will have the gift and blessing of chatting with you. And we'll see you again in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Peace. Happy Halloween.
Peace out. And I want to bring Zoe back in for a minute to share a little more joy with us, a little more playfulness in music, in truth. Here's Zoe.
So this is a song that I recently added to my playlist, and I play it whenever I'm feeling down and I need a little boost. So I thought that I'd share it with everybody today. I'm feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. I got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way around it. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. I got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah. Some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to keep you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears just like the waves and sound is. And just say whatever, cause there is no way around it. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. I got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, feeling good, like I should. Went and took a walk around my neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. I got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday indeed. Everybody give your Sunday best right now. Zoe, whew, you rock. Girl, you just rock. Thank you. Thank you for bringing us all this joy today, all this truth. And let's wrap this up in some prayer. Let's take it back to where we started, where we're based, where we're founded, where unity all began, into that prayerful space. We know that we have been right here today in this time, in this space, by divine appointment. We said yes. We used our power of yes for this experience where we received what we needed, where we are at this particular moment in time, gloriously unfolding into perfection like a beautiful rose. And before we go forward from our experience together, whenever we're together, we remember that we are divinely protected, and we know this in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. The mind of God guides us. The life of God flows through us. The laws of God direct us. The power of God abides within us. The joy of God uplifts us. The strength of God renews us. The beauty of God inspires us. Wherever we are, God is, because God is all. And for this, we are grateful. We are blessed. Why wait? Why put it off? Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Walk forth, shining your light, walking towards those fears as they get smaller and smaller. Happy Halloween. I love you.